Chef Guy. Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Chef Guy, the Ministry of Food, because it's all about looking at what you've got in your boxes, your food boxes, and me hopefully trying to come up with some recipes you can do. So let's have a look at some of the items that you've got in your box. So wraps, you should have those. Onions, one onion I think you got. You should have a pepper. You should have some baked beans. And you should have some cheese. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a wrap with baked beans in there, onions, peppers, and tomatoes, because you should have a can of tomatoes in there as well. And then we're going to fill those up, put some cheese on the top and bake those, and they should be lovely. Don't forget, you can spice it up if you want by putting some chili or paprika in there. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. First job is to dice half the onion. Okay. Now I've got this on one of my bite-size series, dicing onion, so you need to really get that under your belt before you do other things. Have a look at that. I'll dice this onion, be back with you in a second.
A few moments later.
Okay, so onion's been done. I'm going to show you how to do the pepper. People do it different ways. I'll show you a couple of ways you can do it. Okay, so I'm going to use half the pepper. That bit there, just pull it out, the core bit, and I'll cut that in half. Now I've taught my students, if they wanted to do like a diced pepper, to start off by making the claw of Freddy, but that's quite old now, Freddy Krueger, isn't it? So I now say the claw of Wolverine. So if you get that bit, hold it there. Okay, if you turn it over, what you want to do is you just want to make like little fingers. Don't go all the way through because it will fall apart at the end. There, look. You see that? And then all you do, put it down that way, make your little claw, and you can get pieces of little diced up pepper there. Some people in these wraps or enchiladas, okay, I'm going to call them enchiladas from now on, like little strips of pepper. That's even easier. Just put it down there, make your claw, and you could do little strips. How do you want it? Diced or in strips? It's up to you. Because I've diced that, I'm going to dice this bit as well. So it's all the same. And all I'm going to do now is put a little bit of olive oil into there. Didn't matter, you haven't got olive oil, just a bit of cooking oil. Rapeseed oil I use, and we're going to fry those until they go soft. See you in a minute.
5 minutes later.
So I've been cooking now for, I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes, and the peppers, if you look, have gone soft, and so have the onions. So if I keep cooking that, it's going to burn eventually, so I need to add some liquid. So in your box you've got a can of tomatoes. Add half a can of tomatoes. I've got some in here I'm going to use. So half a can of your tomatoes in there. And we're going to cook that off. I might add just a splash of water in there just to make it a little bit more liquid so things don't catch. So I'm just going to take this over and put a little splash of water in there. Make it a little bit more depth of flavour with the tomato, I'm going to put just a teaspoon of tomato puree in there. Now once again, if you haven't got tomato puree, a squirt of ketchup will do the job. That's just got a little bit of sugar in there, which is quite good if you're using a lot of tomatoes, okay, which can be slightly acidic. So I've put a teaspoon of that in there. I'm going to give that just a stir around. Now what I'm going to do now is let that cook down a bit till it gets to a thickish sauce. And then we're going to add some beans to that. I'm going to put some paprika in this as well in a minute. I'm going to sprinkle some paprika in. If you wanted chili, you could put some chili in there. You could put some herbs in there. I'm going to put some herbs in now, and I'll put my paprika in a little bit later. So just a few herbs in there, okay? And let's let that cook off a little bit. See you in a minute.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Simmering away nicely. I'm going to add some beans. Now, we're going to take a little bit of liquid out of this bean so the sauce doesn't get too runny, and you might have a sieve at home. Okay, I'm going to use a sieve, but if you haven't, if you just open your can of beans a little bit, okay, like that, you can actually just drain some of the. See, that's just draining the juice out of it, like that. You can just have to drain it all out. Don't be too fussy about it. But if you just drain some of the juice out, it just makes it a bit more solid. So pull the top off there, in with the beans. You're not going to get much juice off anyway, but it does help a little bit. So you can see that, not much juice come off there, but I'm going to add those beans into it now, and we're going to cook those off a bit.
A few minutes later.
So before I start cooking this, I'm going to put the oven on gas mark 4, which is 180 degrees C, because you're going to cook it for about 15 minutes at the end. See you later. Okay, so this is looking good. It's got nice and thick now. There's some paprika gone in there. Might put some garlic on it if I had some garlic in there as well. And don't forget, this at the moment is vegan. Okay, it won't be vegan if you put normal cheese on the top, but if you wanted it a vegan, just put some vegan cheese on the top. So it's very healthy. This, you've got beans, a lot of tomatoes in there. You've got onions in there. Okay, and you've got your carbohydrates in your bread. And you've got protein in the cheese and in a little bit in the beans as well. So this is quite a healthy meal. So to do this, it's quite simple. I'm not going to fuss about it too much. I'm going to put a little bit of the sauce on the bottom because that helps the enchiladas from sticking. You can see what I've done there. Okay, I'm going to get one of the wraps. I'm going to turn this off. I'm just going to put some in there. And I'm going to wrap it over. Just like that. One. I think we'll get 4 done here. Let's try and get a bit more in there if I can. So, oh, spilling some. Not quite so much next time though. And if you put the actual folded side, this side here, down, bottom downwards, it doesn't open up later. So let's look, I'll get another one in there. I think I put too much. Let's take some. There we go. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some of this on the top as well. Sprinkle it on the top there. Don't want to waste any of it. And the last bit, and it's done, we're going to put some cheese on there. So I could do about half the cheese. We might do a cheesy pasta thing later in the week. So look at that, that's about half the cheese, isn't it? That looks nice. So I'm going to pop that into the oven. It's all cooked, just needs heating through until the cheese melts and it's nice and hot. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. See you in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
20 minutes later.
It's been in there about 15 minutes. Going to get it out now and have a look. I think that looks lovely. So all the cheese is melted on the top. A little bit of crispness on the bread there, and the wraps. So I think that's lovely. And don't forget, if you don't like beans, you could put more tomato in there. You could put mushrooms in there if you like to. If you wanted to make a spaghetti bolognese, take the spaghetti away and use wraps instead and wrap those up. If you wanted to, you could do a fish one if you wanted, with tuna and all sorts. But that's the idea there anyway. So that is a nice meal for 2 of you. Very nutritious. No chance of the health police today. Okay, so have a go at doing that. Come back to you with a few other recipes from your box later on in the week. Namaste, guy.